All right, we'll see if I can do this without Dana. Usually Dana's here to kick the show off, or Sonia for our college show. Good evening. It's a fabulous Tuesday here. Welcome to the Our Turf Football Podcast. I will be your hostess this evening, Cleveland Kate, and with me, the lovely and talented Lisa, LJ1303. It's the off season. It's been a frenzy of moves and trades the last 2 days for what feels like it's been really quiet for a few weeks, and then this week has just blown up. And one of the big things, I guess I'll tell you, first of all, I guess we should thank our sponsors. Big shout out to Donkey's Place, 3 locations if you're in New Jersey: Camden, Medford, and Mount Holly. You can thank them for the fact that you don't get commercials during our podcast. If you're watching us on X or any of the other socials, please think about coming over to YouTube and hitting subscribe. We've got a great chat room that goes on while we're doing the show. Hey, Kristen. Hey, Big Red. Hey, Darcy. Got some of our regulars here today. Love getting questions from them and would love to get questions from you. And this is the only place where you can interact with us. Right. You can actually put comments on X or Facebook or some of the other ones where you can watch the show, but we don't see them until afterwards. So if you want to be interacting with us live, you got to click on into here. So as part of our off-season coverage, we're going to dig into the combine and some of the draft guys, the prospects to watch in a couple weeks. Emory Hunt's going to join us. So we're kind of saving that conversation for closer to the draft. But with all of the craziness and the trades and everything that's been going on, and because it's just me and Lisa tonight, I said, let's talk quarterbacks. Let's talk quarterbacks, because it is the most important. For as much as we joke about kickers and one job, quarterback really matters. If you look at the quarterbacks that were in the playoffs last year and what they did and what their numbers were like, that position is pivotal to what that team does during the rest of the offseason, what they do in the draft. And there were quite a few big moves, I think, that were made that tell me took some teams off the list of folks that I thought would be going after a quarterback in the first round. So, Lisa, I thought we would start with your favorite division, or at least the one that you live and die with, the AFC East. Right. The Patriots did a great playoff run, yada, yada, blah, blah. They're pretty set with May. I was about to say the Bills are set with Josh Allen, but they signed 2 quarterbacks this week. They signed Kyle Allen to a 2-year deal, and then Shane, I think it's Buchley, to a 1-year deal. I think they're most likely just backups in case Josh gets hurt. He's had some injuries. But the Dolphins, we did a little early morning celebration when the news broke. Released Tua and signed Malik Willis, and the Jets signed Geno Smith. That division's going to be a little more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, Geno going home. Wait, I think when you look at the Buffalo Bills hitting on there, they lost Mitchell Trubisky. So I think, they had to shore it up, and I think somebody's been with them before. So we have two quarterbacks that have been back into the AFC East with him, with the Bills, and with Geno Smith going back to the Jets where his career started. So how things change, and we talked about it, Kate, too, with all the coaching changes. We kind of figured we were going to see kind of a flux and a kind of a new. We weren't sure, and just like the start of the season, we're just not sure what's going to happen with all the new changes going on. But we certainly got a little glimpse of it. They went out and got the guys they wanted. Yep. So when you look at the Dolphins, you look at Tua. I mean, it's been rumored all preseason long when the Packer regime came in. Malik Willis was a almost a sure thing. Just the money thing was a discussion that they had, but he didn't go for his high. And you got to know there's behind talk, right? Come on. I mean, we all know. I mean, I think it was the day he got hired. I think Malik knew he had a shot to come to South Florida. And so I kind of think that was a good, I'm just surprised how many analysts hate the move. Because they're like, the Dolphins are a rebuild. Why do they just, go with Quinn Ewers, and get one of the 6 quarterbacks that are, possibly coming out next year with a hell of a quarterback class coming out. With me, it's a no risk, no reward thing. I mean, you got a young guy. I mean, he shows promise. If you hit on him, you hit on him, right? I mean, you're looking for the franchise guy. Everybody's like, oh, he's Tua 2.0. No, I mean, if you've watched Tua the last 2 years, we'll get into the Tua talk here a little bit with the injuries and stuff like that. And the film doesn't lie. When you look at Tua in the first 2 years when he was with the Dolphins to the last couple seasons, it's 100% noticeable. And why the Falcons want to sign a guy who, on Thursday night of last season, it was either Monday or Thursday night, where you're going into halftime, you're on the other side of the 50 and you hit the ground instead of throwing a Hail Mary, which other 31 teams in the league would have done.
Yeah.
Instead, he takes the ball and he lays on the ground. Right there. That's what lost me. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? The guy can't throw, a 30-something yard pass. So it was very noticeable. I wasn't a Tua hater. Something happened to the kid. Something happened.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a mental thing. I think it's a physical thing. I think it's a hip injury. I think it's just the concussions and the wear and the tear of the NFL. So it baffles me with the Falcons. I think, and we talk about them signing Tua. Michael Penix, another one. He's an older quarterback. He took a beating. He was out. You got two lefties, and on top of that, you got two injury-prone quarterbacks. I don't know what the Falcons were thinking. Was that the best available?
Well, we'll get to Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees and the Falcons. I got some thoughts about, because you can't have a nice, happy quarterback room if you're under Kevin Stefanski. So with the Dolphins, what I saw from a lot of people today was that they thought there was going to be this competition between Malik and Quinn Ewers in training camp. And Lisa, I don't see it. He played 4 games last year. He had 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he got sacked 8 times. He went 3-1 in the 4 games that he played. I think they put him in the Cleveland game at one point. Either Tua got hurt or he just wasn't effective, and they put him in, and then he started 3 in a row. Is there more to him? Can he legitimately compete with Malik to be the starter, or is that they're just saying it?
I think physically right now, when you look where the Dolphins' offensive line is, you have to kind of give Malik more of the, rollout and more athletic ability than yours. But I love the mentality that this new regime brings. It's every position's up for grabs all the time. It's not a secure spot where we're the prime examples of that, given Tua all that money, because it's like, oh, we're set with our guy. When you listen to our GM and our head coach, there's going to be competition every single year. They're going to always bring quarterbacks in. And he said he's going to draft a quarterback a year. I mean, I think it keeps your quarterback, on its toes. I think you're always trying to constantly, get your team better. That's why I said I don't hate this move. I kind of like the move because it's not a sure thing. Everything's going to be a competition. He's not just going to get handed the reins. So Quentin Ewers will have his opportunity to start. I mean, he'll have a competition to go. Right now, everybody just assumes it's going to be Malik just because of the way our line is, and I have no idea what kind of offense we're going to look like. But Malik to Waddle has a real good taste in my mouth to it. I think it's going to be a pretty good combination with those two. So, but Ewers will have every opportunity, and it's been said that several times that he'll be able to compete. It's just not being, like the old days where it's just like you bring in a free agent quarterback and hand him the reins, and that's it. He takes. Yeah. It's not. I think it's a different type of atmosphere down here. I hope. It's hard for me. I've been doing this for over 50 years with this team. The last 3 regimes have been horrible, and every single time we change, it's like, oh, it's different. It's different. I don't know if it's different. I'll tell you in a couple years.
Yeah. The New York Jets brought Geno Smith back. It moves Justin Fields down in the depth chart to their second position. He looked better for a little while there, and then it all kind of fell apart again. Is that the Jets, or was that Justin Fields?
I think that's the Jets and Justin Fields. I think it became very clear the Justin Fields that we saw last year that's the Justin Fields we're going to get. I mean, I think that was the ceiling for him. He can be really good. I mean, I think he's a manageable quarterback. I do not think he's a franchise quarterback. I believe Geno Smith was just brought in as almost a bridge gap type of quarterback, just like Seattle Seahawks did with him, right? They just wrote him and then, upgraded the position.
Yeah.
Everybody with the Jets, to me, is looking to next year for that draft and a quarterback. I just think he's a fill gap right now. So, hopefully they'll do the competition thing. I don't see Fields competing with them. So I think Geno will be your Jet starter, with the mindset that there's next year. But the thing that I'm hearing is Aaron Glenn on the hot seat. I mean, they're already talking about the Jets need to have a successful season, right? When we go into our show, it'll be interesting to see what we do, where we're at with him as far as what the NFL analysts are saying, because apparently the Jets need to have some kind of success this season or he's going to be gone.
Yeah, there's not a lot of patience for the Jets. They've also got a kid named Hendon Hooker on their bench out of Tennessee. I really liked him when he came out in the draft. Maybe if they get some parts with Quinn and Malik in mind, maybe he will benefit from that also, and maybe he can quietly start to make some waves. So with the Tua talk, since we've wrapped up pretty much the AFC East, I want to jump down to the NFC South. You've still got Bryce Young for the Panthers. You've got Baker Mayfield for the Buccaneers. The Saints are starting Tyler Shuff, who ended up looking, I think, better than I thought he would. And then the Falcons with Michael Penix Jr. and now Tua. It's going to be a competition. Kevin Stefanski loves him a 5-quarterback room. I don't know why. And he's one of the new head coaches that I think, listen, I liked him a lot when he was in Cleveland. There were some things that were beyond his control that ownership did to him. Mm-hmm. And then there was a lot of play calling decision-making that I struggled with. He's clearly trying to put his stamp on this team. He wants to let, in my opinion, Michael Penix Jr. know that his job is not guaranteed. And he wants to see some competition. And by bringing Tua in, that's exactly what they're going to have in Atlanta. But question from Big Red.
Mm-hmm.
Does Atlanta give Tua better, the protection that he didn't have in Miami? I don't know that Atlanta's front line is any better or worse than Miami's was.
I would agree with that. And when you look at what they did as far as, they franchise tagged Kyle Pitts. They brought in a wide receiver. They signed Austin Hooper. Jahad Dotson signed a wide receiver. I don't understand the Tua signing. I just don't. I don't know what they saw that people didn't see at the end of the Dolphin season. I just don't know if they just thought that
there's plenty of film on him.
I mean, all I need to see was that right before the half when he hit the ground instead of throwing the ball. To me, it's like, okay, is there something that we don't know? Is there something that he said, look, I was hurt, now I'm better? I don't know. Because what would, if you're Atlanta and you're Kevin, you know the guy very well. Are you bringing in a Kyler Murray or a Tua? I mean, I just kind of I really was surprised. I kind of really thought Atlanta would go after Murray. The
Ravens have backed out of the Max Crosby trade.
What?
Breaking news, which was an insane two first rounders for him. But according to the Adam Schefter and the Raiders, the Baltimore Ravens have backed out of the trade. We will have no further comment at this time. Do you think he didn't pass his medicals or something? Because if you made the trade, you can't. I don't think there's any way you change your mind about the value, about what you were giving away. There was something about Max they got to look at now that they don't like. And I would think it's just medicals. I've heard nothing ever, no whisper about any scandals, involving him. And he was hurt for a little bit last year. That's crazy.
Baltimore must have seen something in the physical or couldn't agree on contract terms. Wow.
That's insane.
Well,
Shout
we
out to
thought when
Darcy for
that broke, I
alerting me
thought,
in the chat.
yeah,
I'm looking for
no.
Big Red. The Saints may indeed trade Spencer. I don't know who would be shopping for him. That's one of the things you got to do is, as much as you want to get rid of, Lisa wanted to get rid of Tua. I've wanted to get rid of quarterbacks in my day. Even if you want to get rid of Spencer Rattler to give him better opportunity at another team, you got to have a trade partner. You've got to have somebody who's willing to take him. He's sitting behind Tyler Shuff and in front of Taysom Hill. The Taysom Hill experiment continues. Feel like I've been trying to figure out what the Taysom Hill experiment is for as long as we've been doing this podcast. Years. Coach, Kevin sounds like that boyfriend or the girlfriend feeling that they can fix their partners. He does. He wants to be in charge. He wants to put his own stamp on it. He doesn't want any credit for the quarterback play to go to a prior regime for bringing in Michael Penix Jr. He wants to be able to say that he brought into refurbished him and got his head right and did whatever it was that needed to be done to make Tua successful. I'm not buying it. But for the AFC, or I'm sorry, for the NFC South in general, I don't think any of them, I take that back. I don't think the Panthers, Bucks, or Falcons are going to be looking at a quarterback in this draft. But Lisa, what about the Saints? Might they be looking at a Ty Simpson or Drew Aller out of Penn State, Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU? Are they're to me, they're a likely team that's going to be looking to pick up a quarterback this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, those are the top names that you hear definitely from the draft. I wouldn't certainly, like I said, man, next year's going to be a lot better. But is there a diamond in this rough? That's the thing, and you got to do your homework. So if the Saints have done their homework, I don't honestly think that you're going to see a quarterback probably to 2 or 3 maybe. I can't see anybody. I'm trying to think of who would come off the board first, to be honest with you, as far as quarterbacks are concerned.
Well, the Raiders are going to take Mendoza. So I
besides
kind of
Mendoza,
him over here. And I'm like, all right, once that's done,
man, that's a far ceiling from him.
Yes, there's a big drop between Mendoza and everybody else, right? The Jets were on my list of people who needed one, but with the signing of Geno, maybe if they do get one, they get one in the later round that they can let sit. If Geno's going to be a bridge for them.
Yeah, I think he is. I really do. I think it's just the Seattle Seahawks in the making thing of just, having him there. And he won some games for Seattle, and it put Seattle in the position to make a run at Sam Darnold. And then look what happened. So my question is, I just don't know if the Jets are going to be that patient, or are they just tagging Geno Smith as the one?
We'll know in a month or so, in 6 weeks, when the draft is here. Let's stay in the NFC for just a minute. NFC West, you've got the Seahawks with Darnold. The Rams have Stafford. The 49ers have Purdy. I think they're all set. The Cardinals are expected to release Kyler Murray tomorrow. They've still got Jacoby Brissett, and they signed Gardner Minshew. Are they looking for a quarterback in this draft as well, or are they moving with Gardner?
I think they're going to move on with Gardner, and I think they're going to try to get themselves a quarterback next year. I think they're setting that up. I don't think you'll see some big moves from them. But I mean, at that point, if you're going into the late round 2 and late round 3, and like you said, you've got a Drew Aller sitting there, you've got Ty Simpson sitting there. I mean, I wouldn't hurt to pull the trigger just to see. You never know. I mean, it could be the Tom Brady situation.
Yep.
So, and I think it was Mike Tannenbaum, even though Mike Tannenbaum's history with GMs as a GM is horrible. But his analysis is pretty good. I mean, he did analysis when Kyler Murray gets released tomorrow. I think you're looking at a 10-year span where a quarterback has been taken in the first round that is not with the team that took them.
Yep.
So it's, it's starting to kind of is it making NFL, unless it's a surefire thing, do you take I do. I'm taking a shot. I mean, I think when you can hit on that quarterback like a Mahomes or a Josh Allen or like we all did, Bernie Kosar or Dan Marino. I mean, that whole class.
Spencer to Arizona is not going to happen. I'm sorry, Brad. No. I say that, and he's the one who thought the Panthers would win their division.
Well, listen,
so I gotta,
let's.
he has been right. I can't.
If we go back to the AFC, we're all going to be on the freaking Rodgers watch again, right? We're still gonna whether because he hasn't announced anything, and he pretty much said on the Pat McAfee show that he's not going to announce it for a while. So it's like, oh, here we go. Again,
yeah, you got Aaron for the AFC North, Aaron Rodgers. The Baltimore's got Lamar Jackson. They signed Tyler Huntley back,
right?
For 2 years. Lamar's another one that has his health issues. Yep. The Bengals have Joe Burrow. The Browns have Shador, and frankly, they have Deshaun, and a brand new head coach in Todd Monken. And Todd, was asked point blank at the combine, "Is your starting quarterback for next year in the quarterback room?" And he was like, "Maybe." And I don't know what to do with that. There. We'd love to have a ton of quarterbacks in the quarterback room.
Yeah. Is Deshaun going to be there?
If Deshaun's healthy, they're paying him. They have to play him, which is, ugh.
I mean, he showed videos of himself on TikTok working out and running drills and stuff. So,
yeah. I make no bones about the fact that I love Shador. He's the tallest quarterback I've had in that room in a long time, and I'm a fan. But I still think the Browns are a team to watch as far as getting a first or second round quarterback. That is what I'm using as like my barometer to decide what Todd Monken wants to do with this team. Is he going to just go with the room that we've got, or is he going to try to pick somebody up? And then how early he gets them. Round 1 or 2 is somebody that they think can start. Anybody later is just a future prospect that they're going to work on. So I've added the Browns to my list of teams that I think might be looking for a quarterback. The AFC South, I think, is pretty set, depending on Indy. So the Jags still have Trevor Lawrence. The Texans have C.J. Stroud. The Titans have Cam Ward. The Colts have Daniel Jones. He's recovering from his Achilles injury. They gave him what they call a transition tag, which means you're still on our team and you're still under contract to us, but you get to dabble in free agency. And if someone makes you an offer and you like it, then they'll release you and you can go. I think Miss Chrissy is very, very bright and very smart, and she did a very nice job managing that team and addressing some positions of need for them last year. And I think she's going to get a deal done with him. If his Achilles is healed and he can play, I think she's bringing him back. I don't see anyone in that division being a player for a first or second round quarterback.
No. And I think that's the consensus in Indy, that they'll stay. I think that the tag just gives it more time to me. It's just let's put the tag on them. And we'll work it out. Yeah, they're always going to start far apart, but I seemingly think they're going to get a deal done. I don't think Jones wants to play for another team. I think it's just I
think he's been very happy there.
Yeah,
the pieces they have seem to complement him in his coaching. Look how well he played before he got hurt. So I think he wants to stay.
I do too. So I don't see any movement there. I think it's more.
West. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I think with I tell you, team stay in the South there, the AFC for a minute. I'm still going to say that I'm worried if I'm a Texan. I'm telling you. I don't know if I would probably look at one of these. How about a Russell Wilson or a somebody? I still think I'm still worried about CJ. I really am. I think one of the, you could even like maybe bring a Kyler Murray in or a Russell Wilson just to, if it happens, because I mean,
well, and looking at the prospects, Drew Aller out of Penn State, he's 6'5", 228. You could bring him in and give him a year to sit behind CJ.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at this division, I don't know that Jacksonville is ready to move away from Trevor. He started to come back this year. He was healthier this year. I agree with you. My concerns on CJ is he had a really good early beginning his first year. and it's just kind of downhill. And the Texans have done a lot for that team in general. So I can't even blame it on the team around him
Right.
for what we've seen the last 2 years. I don't know that they're on my list of patient owners that I think they're expecting something from him.
Yeah.
And maybe he's on a little bit of a hot seat. We'll see what their mindset is on if they pick up a quarterback in this draft and how early they do it.
So I think with your division, the Browns wide open, right? We don't know right now. You lean towards Sanders. Lamar, we know, set with the Ravens. Yep. Pittsburgh obviously is going to go with Will Howard. I think they're going to, ride with Will as long as he can stay healthy. And then I think that question mark is the Browns on.
Yeah.
With Deshaun. Yeah. And,
So I think in the AFC, it's the Jets, the Browns, and the Texans that I'm going to be keeping an eye on as far as quarterbacks. When I look at the AFC West, you've got Bo Nix in Denver. He's secure. Justin Herbert's good with the Chargers.
Yeah,
Are the Chiefs with Pat Mahomes, are they ready to draft somebody and let him sit a little bit? They should.
They should.
He ain't getting any younger.
No.
He tore his ACL last year, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna throw them on quarterback watch. And then the Raiders, they've got Kenny Pickett. They got rid of Geno. We all know they're taking Fernando Mendoza at number 1. So
and then we're gonna start our my philosophy. You're now one-run quarterback. You should start right away. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they start him right away. What's gonna happen there?
I like Kenny Pickett coming out of college, and he just has not done. He was in Pittsburgh. He was here.
Right.
He's there. He's been on, at least in Pittsburgh, was a halfway decent team. And he just didn't shine the way I thought he would shine. So once the Raiders go, I think we've got one team in each division in the AFC that we could argue might take a quarterback. In the NFC, we're looking at the Saints in the South. We're looking at the Cardinals in the West. The East, you've got the Eagles with Jalen Hurts, the Cowboys with Dak Prescott, the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, and the Giants with Daxton Dart. Do any of them need to even look?
No, I don't think so. I think you're set there. I think if you look at anything, you might look at something like a veteran backup or something, maybe just in case, because you never know. We could have one of those years where, it hits the fan. So, but like I said, I think you're just looking at maybe some depth for that one. Cause I think, like you said, that's pretty solid. I don't see anybody moving. You might see if later one of those quarterbacks, like we just talked about, if one of those quarterbacks slips down, might be a little bit sexy pick just to, pick up. So nothing would surprise me there with that. So I think you're pretty lock solid there.
Yeah, I think the NFC North is the same way. The Bears have Caleb Williams.
Right. They're not going to be.
We saw a lot of growth out of him last year. The Packers have Jordan Love. The Vikings have J.J. McCarthy. The Lions have Jared Goff. Maybe they're looking for their next quarterback. Jared is. Well, I don't want to say he's old, but in that division, he's the old man.
Yeah. And who did you said right before that? We went
J.J. McCarthy with the Vikings.
Now listen,
the Packers.
Now the Vikings, if you're a Vikings fan, I mean, that's a tough one, because is he the guy? I still think there's a lot of question marks there in Minnesota. I would definitely make sure I had really good depth. Let me look up something to say who we got.
Yeah, Kristen says I'd be worried about CJ too. He's been a deer in the headlights.
Ooh, I'm telling you, I'm worried, man. I just got that pit feeling with them, and I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah, Big Red says Dak is not the answer in Dallas. He's not, but they're also not going to move away.
They paid him a lot of money. Dak's not going anywhere.
Yep. The Chiefs aren't going to draft anyone. If they do, Pat's just going to be on his Brett high horse and not give up the starting job. I don't know that they want to draft someone to take over for him. I think they need to start thinking about when he decides to retire. I don't know if Travis Kelce's going to retire ever or not.
Yeah, they're talking about
Patrick had his first real serious injury this year. He's done it all. He's won it all. He's got to be having those conversations with his people and his family and himself and being like, do I still want to do this? Do I still have what it takes to do this? And maybe he does. But if you're running the Chiefs organization, you've got to be looking at your depth chart and trying to decide, if he gets hurt again, what do we do? If he doesn't want to play, what do we do?
Right.
They've got Chris Oladokin and Jake Hayner. Like, nobody knows who these people are on their depth chart. It just feels like it makes sense for them to take somebody, so that it's going to be Patrick's decision. When he decides to go, they will be like, okay, there you go. They're not going to force him out, but they need to start planning. They need to start their 401k plan, right? Like, we're all going to retire someday. We got to have a little something over here. So yeah, that's that. So I think in the NFC, the popular team would be the Lions, the Saints, and the Cardinals. I think are going to be our teams to watch to get someone early. But I think the Chiefs are part of that group. Chiefs and Texans might be looking a little later for.
Yeah, I would think. Like I said, right now, I got Kyler going to the Vikings. I think Murray wants to play for the Vikings. I think the Vikings want competition in there for JJ. It'd be hard pressed for me seeing him going to another team. I think you look at Arizona. I think you look at somebody like Russell Wilson, Joe Flacco, Jimmy Garoppolo are still some names that might float around there. That might, So it's going to be
Arizona's picking at 3, and the Saints are picking at 8. So those, if nobody moves up to get their guy, and while I like a lot of these college quarterbacks are coming out, I don't know that there's anybody on this list that I'm giving up the farm to move up for. Ty Simpson out of Alabama, 6'2", he's in second, and they're calling him a tier 1, but I'm sorry, there's a huge gap between Mendoza and Ty Simpson in my there is. And he might be sitting there. If he's sitting there, the Saints should grab him at 8. If he's not there, it's because somebody went up and got him, I think.
Yeah.
Day 2, Lisa, help me. Carson Beck is a round 2 prospect.
Whew, no. But at the combine, he was dropping dimes, and I laughed and I put, now he drops dimes.
Well, he had that playoff run. I'll give him this. I was worried about him, and he was the only reason I was worried about Miami through the entire NCAA playoffs. And he was not regular season Carson. He wasn't making stupid mistakes until the very last play of the very last game. And you hate to end your career on an interception. But he showed he could do it, and he showed he could do it. I don't know if there's more pressure in any other situation in college than in the one and done playoffs. And he faced some very good defenses.
I don't see him any better than a Nussmeier. I mean, I would, like I said, Nussmeier got hurt.
They have Beck, Nussmeier out of LSU, Aller out of Penn State,
and Green out of Arkansas. Don't forget Taylon Green
as all round 2 or round 3 prospects. And I'm like, did you people watch film? They're all over 6 feet tall. So I got no issue with them.
I'm with it.
Diego Pavia is short. Lisa can tell you how short he is. Lisa was taught that she measures wrong at the Senior Bowl.
Listen,
she had men explaining her how to measure height. Is that the most mansplaining thing?
That's the most mansplaining thing. And they want him to be 6 foot so bad that, it's incredible. I'm sorry. He's not. He's arrogant. Anybody who gets trained by Johnny Manziel's needs their head examined to begin with. So listen,
yes,
I don't doubt he was a hell of an athlete in college, but he is not an NFL quarterback. I don't care what you said. I can't see him getting drafted, and I'm going to say it right now. If somebody drafts him, then Jesus, that's a waste of a pick. When there's so many other talented people.
Decide to go quarterback because we're picking early. I like Nussmeier out of LSU. I like Aller out of Penn State. I love Klubnik out of Clemson. Kid's got some accuracy, and that's what I need. Nussmeier's 6'1", but he's not wide. He's got a very small frame. He's barely clearing 200 pounds. Drew Aller at 6'5", and he's knocking on 230. He's just but he needs some coaching. He's one of those guys, if you can get him in the second round and let him sit behind, like pretend there's a competition, but there's really not. So he gets a year to learn some I want to call it grown-up skills. He needs some coaching
right
on a lot of things.
If you're going to do that, then I'm going to tell you right now, my sleeper pick in this draft is Cole Pathan, the North Dakota State quarterback. I'm telling you, the kid.
Dana, we're going to talk about that. Actually, I have zero issue with him. He's another guy, 6'3", 230, got a nice frame on him.
Got a nice arm. Smart. He's a lefty, but he's got a nice arm. I mean, and I just think with some coaching, I would take him in a later round before a lot of the other ones. That's just me. I just think that he's worth a shot, especially if you can get him with a good coach, almost like a Mike McCarthy, because, Mike has developed some really nice quarterbacks.
Yep.
So if you could if Pittsburgh could get this kid in a later round, holy cow. I mean, he might. So I don't know. I think
Brad wants to know if Cade Klubnik's going to go undrafted. If he does, shame on the entire NFL, because I mean, that kid's got some talent on him.
Right.
He really does. At this point in your career, you have to decide if you want to go out on top or not. I think that's a Pat Mahomes question. I feel like Pat Mahomes sort of has that Brady cocky mentality. He'll do that thing where he'll retire and then he'll unretire a year later.
I feel like Pat is one of the players where we talked about with Brady. I think you're going to drag this kid off the field. I think he's going to be one of these guys. He's so competitive and
Brett Favre will play for anybody just to keep playing.
I think he just loves the game, and I think he's going to be one of these kids that it's not going to end good, because I think it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have to pretty much drag the kid off the field. They're gearing up. I mean, like I said, I knew all along Kelsey wasn't. As soon as they signed Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator, I said Travis is going to come back for another year. They're going to make another. They're going to load up, and they're going to try to make another run. As long as Patrick's knee can, be healthy. And from what I hear, he's way ahead of rehab. Does that surprise us? No, because that's the kind of guy Patrick Mahomes is. I don't think it's going to end good with him, because I think he's going to be one of these guys. He just wants to play forever. So
I agree. All right. We have top quarterbacks today.
Yay.
I'm feeling good about the quarterback situation. We'll probably have to talk about
it. I think you got a lot of them.
There's been a lot of movement already. I love that there are a couple divisions that are just locked down. And then there are quite a few more where it's interesting.
They need help.
We don't have a single division where we think there are two teams that need a quarterback.
Nope.
There's been enough movement in the last few days, and enough of these younger guys have showed up this year. Especially think the NFC North. The NFC North with the Bears, Packers, all them, that really improved the overall caliber of quarterback play this year. I wasn't sure. I think Caleb Williams was throwing for his job this year, and he proved that he's finally getting it. And they got a new head coach. So the new head coach really helped him out. That'll be our challenge this offseason as we're leading up until we get to the Pick'em show in September, is what do we think these 10 new head coaches and how that affects the quarterbacks, and how it's going to affect everything else we see as the season officially kicks off tomorrow. So
it's exciting at the same time, because it's like, it's going to be so hard to pick, because it's like, we're not going to have a clue. We're not going to have an idea. We're not going to have a clue what's going to happen.
What I might do this year for our pickup show is I'm going to put all the names in a hat. I'm going to pull one, and we're going to do the randomizer. Here's our 4 picks. We'll get Big Red's picks, and then we'll random one and just see. We'll see what we do. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Donkey's Cheesefake for sponsoring us. And I think we're back in 2 weeks. We'll post some stuff on Twitter. Emery Hunt's going to join us, and so we have to align with his schedule. We love him, and we are very lucky that he loves coming on the show and talking with us. So y'all have a great week, and thank you so much for joining us. Football season's almost back.